Hey everyone, it's Compass. I'm just gonna update regarding the Unified Aircraft mod. In the week since I finished it, I've gone ahead and released a Java application that handles most of the work. But I know that a lot of people don't like running Java or don't know how to use Java and stuff like that. And basically, I've just gone ahead and taken my personal settings, and I'm gonna go ahead and release those as the Unified Aircraft of 1942, the easy install version with author's pick aircraft. So basically, all I'm going to do is release what I currently have set up as my settings, which are mostly post 1940 post war start, like around 1942, 1943 aircraft that were used during World War II for both the U.S. Navy and the Japanese Navy. So basically, if you haven't heard about the Unified Aircraft mod yet, it basically replaces all the biplanes and all the fighters with a single model. So you don't have jet fighters, you don't have biplanes, you don't have like F4Fs and F6Fs and F8Fs all flying together at once. All you have is a single model of aircraft. So, for example, I replaced my American aircraft with just the Hellcats. So the Hellcats were actually, I think, removed from the game. I think like the Essex, for example, yeah, it just goes from F4U Corsairs to F8Fs. But I've gone ahead and changed that. So I believe, yeah, here we go. You can see all these are Hellcats on the runway. So all the American fighters from Newbie Tree, Langley, all the way up to the end will be Hellcats. Torpedo bombers are Dauntlesses. So you can see right here, these are no longer biplanes on the Langley. I know that the Hellcats didn't operate from the Langley, but for all intents and purposes, they do now. And then we have the Dauntlesses here, and I have Helldivers for the dive bombers. I think the Independence has one of each. Yeah, I think the ones in the front are the Helldivers. Yeah, I can't really tell from this angle. I suck at identifying aircraft, but those should be Helldivers right here. So basically, every single aircraft through this entire tree has the same aircraft launching. So you should be able to more easily identify what type of aircraft they are. You don't have to worry about the tier. I know that most people don't care about what tier it is. They just care about, oh my gosh, my biplanes are fighting monoplanes or something like that. This doesn't change any of the aircraft performance values. They all act like what they were before. So if they're biplanes, they're just going to be very slow Hellcats and very slow, Dauntlesses and stuff like that, and be weaker. But at least this gives a more consistent look than what was originally offered, which is, I think, 8 or 9 tiers of aircraft that just keep changing. And they skip over the Hellcat and stuff like that. And then basically people are going from planes that they really like looking at to like really weird looking planes. I think like the Dauntless, for example, doesn't come in navy blue. It comes in like silver and yellow, and it's just really difficult to get that, unified single navy aircraft consistency going in a game when you have like 2-tier differences and there's biplanes flying with Hellcats or Wildcats, or whatever is flying in the game. So that replaces the American side, and then the Japanese one has I can pull up my Kiryu. I actually have a Japanese carrier. Oh, crap. Actually, here we go. Yeah. I'm going to mount the default setup. The Japanese side, the fighter is the A6M50. I think the A6M2 model had like a fuel tank and was like white and I think a little larger. So I went ahead with something also similarly color themed. If I do get enough requests for the A6M2, I can go ahead and release like a soft fix that you can drag and drop and replace everything. But this is going to be the A6M5 for the standard release. The torpedo bombers are the B6Ns, and the dive bombers are the D3A2s. So you can see, I think these are the fixed wheels ones. So all of these go through the entire tree. So you can go back to the Hosho, and you'll see that they're on the Hosho as well. They might not have been able to take off from the Hosho, but most of the people don't care about what it looks like on the runway. This looks pretty cool. They probably wouldn't take off, but they care about what it looks like in the air, and they don't want to be flying biplanes around everywhere or seeing jet fighters from Japanese aircraft carriers and stuff like that. That really didn't make too much sense. So basically, as you go through all the tiers, your aircraft will look the same. They'll have different performance. When you upgrade them, they'll still look the same. You can just imagine that you're upgrading the crew and stuff if you want to justify it like that. So like all the way up to the Hakuryu, same type of aircraft, gives it that consistent feel. So I'm going to go ahead and release this as like a zip file So all you have to do to install it is unzip it and drag it into the res mods folder. And this is for the latest version of the game, which is 0.4.0.5. Should work right on top of Aslane's files. Drag and drop shouldn't overwrite anything. I'm not going to include the duck flags. You can get those separately on the forums if you want them, the duck flag over here. But the install is just drag and drop. Shouldn't have any issues replacing. As the game updates, you'll probably have to change the folder name to whatever the current version is. But other than that, this should be stable enough to work as long as mods are supported. I've heard that there's rumors about mods being restricted in future patches, but this should work for now. And it's going to have those 3 planes being switched for both nations and being consistent across the entire board. I think it's going to be about maybe 70 megabytes packed. It's relatively large. If you really don't want to do this, you can still use the Java application or hand copy and paste and rename everything. But this is probably the simplest way for me to distribute what people have been looking for. And at least for now, we're just going to have this one pack. I have been asking for community, community votes. Maybe someone wants like a 1941 variant, for example. But right now, the author's pick is just 1942, late 1942, early 1943 era aircraft. So all these are like mostly what you would see during the heyday of World War II. And hopefully this is what you're looking for, is just all these planes being consistent across the board. So without any other, issues, basically the development work for this is complete, and the only thing that remains is figuring out a best distribution method for all the other individual aircraft. If we're going to do this method, this is probably a little easier for like Aslane to put into his mod because it's a single file instead of some weird programmatic deletion stuff. So for those of you who still want to do, like your individual aircraft, you can still use my Java application. It's mostly there, and hand move the files over at the end. But if you're just looking for a standard view of 1942, 1943 aircraft, this is what you're looking for, and it's going to be out today, hopefully by this evening. And I'll try and put it on some sort of file sharing site and have the link in the video description below. Anyways, thanks for watching, and good driving your boats out there. I don't know.